right, cuz. Hey, listen up. Channel 5 is getting sued by some customers. By some customer motherfuckers. And we need y'all help. I'm gonna let Andrew break it down.
Fuck Bill Joyner.
That's not gonna happen.
What's up, guys? We are in a serious pickle right now. For the past 2.5 years, we over here at Channel 5 have been fighting a lawsuit in silence against a wealthy California lender named Bill Joyner, who I've never spoken to or seen in my life. Among other dubious claims, he accused Channel 5 of violating the Federal Wiretap Act and intercepting his electronic communications, which is something I've never done and don't know how to do.
Andrew don't know how to wiretap nobody, kid.
On its face, it probably seems ridiculous to imagine me tapping phone lines through a third-party listening device and hiding out in a surveillance van near a 56-year-old boomer's house in Orange County. But in our beautiful, free country, somebody with enough money for good lawyers can sue anyone for anything at any time. And just maybe, if you get lucky, the judge will believe it. And that's exactly what happened here. Bill Joyner's attorneys over at Murphy & Murphy somehow successfully, in my opinion, lied in federal court, convincing the 89-year-old judge who was appointed by Jimmy Carter in the early 70s to strike down all of our dismissal attempts and subsequent appeals. This resulted in a painstaking, year-long discovery process where forensic investigators audited our company's servers and hard drives for evidence of wiretapping and found absolutely nothing. Joyner's lawyers then summoned me for a grueling on-camera deposition, which we are currently gaining access to and are going to post on this channel in the coming days. During the deposition, they accused me of deleting and moving files to hide the truth, which is by every account categorically and demonstrably false.
Our paperwork's good, huh?
After years of fighting for the truth in a federal courtroom and spending over $800,000 on legal fees, Joyner's attorneys decided to drop the federal lawsuit entirely before trial. Poof, gone. They dismissed their own wiretap claims after probably realizing that such an outrageous, bold-faced, abominable, and once again, demonstrably false lie would stand no chance whatsoever at a jury trial, where an actual 12-person group of jurors, hopefully born after and not before World War II, would be present and have to hear their non-existent evidence. After the dismissal, over here at Channel 5, we were relieved to be done with the whole thing.
Andrew thought it was over.
As I mentioned, the 2-year uphill battle cost us over 800 grand. If you've never been sued in federal court before, that amount of money might sound pretty high. But as I break down the lawsuit later in this video and take you through each painstaking step of the process, you'll understand how the bill got so high. You'll also probably understand why we've been going so hard in the field, producing such a high volume of content this past year, shooting in multiple countries with 3 separate camera crews, while also hosting regular ticketed live shows here in the USA, Mexico, and Canada. Of course, on a core level, documentary making is my sole passion and purpose, and I would do all this stuff for free. But in this world, the dollar is mightier than God. And since the lawsuit kicked off, I've had to work twice as hard and honestly push myself and our staff to the limit. This was the only way to keep the bills paid. As I've mentioned and will always be the case, Channel 5 is totally independent and exists without a single dollar of corporate investment. We only generate revenue in 3 ways: Patreon subscriptions, merch sales, and non-exclusive ad reads with companies who pay us for placement.
Ground use!
This model is a blessing for journalistic freedom because nobody can tell us what to do, but it's also a curse when it comes to being bullied in court by rich people because we don't have a reserve or retainer of capital to pull from if some tool bag sues us for no reason.
This ain't the LA Times, huh? We don't have a retainer, a cash fight pool, drive you customer-ass motherfuckers.
To be honest though, I've been more than happy to work twice as hard this past year and a half. And even on the most stressful days, all the support and positive feedback that we get from you guys is just a reminder of how lucky I am to work in a field that I enjoy. So thank you, and I genuinely am appreciative of all the support. But today, I've got some really bad news. Bill Joyner and his attorneys are re-suing us. Not in federal court this time, but in California state court, which I guess apparently you can do after throwing out your own claims in the feds, with modified claims now that include defamation, stalking, false light, and trespassing. Yesterday, I was served with the process, pictured on screen, indicating that we're gonna have to go through this entire process again from start to finish. And after speaking with a couple different attorneys, it doesn't seem like the second round is gonna be any cheaper than the first. And therefore, I have to be direct and keep it 1,000 here. I can't afford it. This is not a drill. We cannot afford to keep operations running here at Channel 5 unless we can immediately fundraise the legal fees that are required to fight the second round against bullshitting Bill Joyner and his morally bankrupt team of bogus slanging jabronis, and we need to ask for your support. This is not something I've done before or want to do again, but after reviewing my options, this is the only course of action aside from selling the company or shutting down for the foreseeable future. When we lost All Gas No Brakes in 2021 after a contractual dispute and had to relaunch from square one without a penny of outside funding, it was all of you guys who flocked to our Patreon and kept the dream alive in the face of sudden death. And I will always appreciate each and every supporter who crossed over and has believed in us since I was a 21-year-old kid in an RV. And I hope that I've made it up to at least some of you in one way or another. But this, like that moment, is another sink or swim situation, and we do need your support immediately. I've set our fundraising goal at 800K and put a link to our GoFundMe in the pinned comment and description box of this video. So please, if you can spare even $1, that's still a meaningful drop in the bucket, and it would mean a lot because enough small contributions will get us there. And no matter what, even if we don't meet the goal, you have my word, we will fight this to the end. Much like I would rather work the graveyard shift at an Eaton Park in Poplar Bluff, Missouri than I would apply for a job at an Epstein-captured mainstream outlet in New York City, I would also rather enter a brazen bull torture device or be buried alive in a roach-infested pine box than I would agree to any kind of polite negotiations with people like Bill Joyner and his legal team. So if you custers over at Murphy & Murphy want to take it to trial this round, don't back out before the big party.
Let's take this shit to trial, cuz. That means we gotta squabble, hood. You gotta catch all your flags, don't stir nothing down.
To me, this is not just a matter of integrity, it's also a matter of protecting the people that I care about. Channel 5 is not the coffee shop-based operation that it was years ago when this suit first kicked off. We have a California and soon-to-be Las Vegas office with 10 full-time employees and a newsroom in Mexico City who rely on the 5 for their livelihoods. Additionally, we just reacquired All Gas No Brakes and are in the process of developing a 12-episode season while simultaneously building an independent platform called C5.now to host it, which will also host and distribute other people's documentary films at a higher revenue share than offered by HBO or Netflix. I also support my mom and run a bar with my dad. All this to say, it's not just me, so please consider donating. If we can't reach our goal, we're gonna have to put everything on ice until this new lawsuit wraps up. That would mean committing to an indefinite hiatus starting right now, closing our offices, laying off staff members, and leaning on passive Patreon income to carry us through this dark tunnel until we come out the other side. Or, worst case scenario, if we wanted to continue operations while being sued, we'd have to sell shares in Channel 5 to a corporate investor, which would betray everything we stand for and render our initial mission, which is to weaken and eventually replace the corporate press, totally useless. I would be the biggest customer alive, and I don't want any of this shit to happen. So again, please consider donating. To everybody who's followed this page and me throughout the years, thank you so much, and I want to make you a promise. If we reach our goal and can fight the second round, I won't let you down. I will make sure to bring all the projects I just mentioned to fruition. I will be transparent about where the fundraiser money is going and provide regular lawsuit updates as time goes on. And not everybody's in a position to give, which is okay. Even if you can't help out, maybe just share this video, drop a nice comment, or just continue believing in the Channel 5 mission.
Thank y'all, hood. Watching the content and making the dream happen.
All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this lawsuit. So this whole fiasco began back in 2021. At that point, I'd spent the previous year covering the lead up to the Capitol riot for my HBO project called This Place Rules.
CNN is taking a massive crap on this country. No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
While filming, I spent my time going city to city, rally to rally, and catching people in the midst of tense political moments. You probably saw Alex Jones whipping up crowds into a frenzy.
Never submit to Satan and these globalist pedophiles, and we will defeat their new world order. Amen!
Right-wingers blowing shofar horns around every corner for some reason, and children talking about a cabal of pedophilic deep state boogeymen that only Trump could save us from.
Biden's a child molester, and he kidnaps children and does horrible things to them, just like Hillary Clinton and Obama, who made the virus.
It's kind of interesting looking back at that now with the Epstein stuff, but that aside, in my view, This Place Rules was a 7.5 out of 10. It did a pretty good job of capturing the reality actually on the ground during that time, but only really captured frenzied people at rallies amongst their peers. By the end, especially filming it, it all got a bit repetitive, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something. Mainly, the answer to a simple question. How did these people actually get there? Or like, what happened in their personal lives prior to jumping down down the reactionary rabbit hole. I wanted to spot the invisible hand and find a shared, non-political grievance that was making so many people willing to eventually toss their freedom away behind a politician who did nothing for them, while also falling for every culture war issue under the sun, as greedy politicians on both sides of the aisle continued to tighten their grip on wealth and information.
I would rather die than wear a mask.
My desire to answer this question, especially on the right, connects to my personal belief that two-party politics in America are a deliberate scam engineered by a singular elite power structure with the sole purpose of preventing the unification of, I'll just say it, the proletariat, the working class, the 99%, the real ones who go to work without friends in high places, just to get robbed blind by the geriatric descendants of slavers and robber barons, while being blinded by identity-focused wedge issues that do nothing but make us hate each other.
On wood.
So shortly after January 6th, there was a pretty interesting Washington Post study that came out that honestly kind of revealed what I had been thinking for a long time. So it showed that in the years leading up to 2020, 60% of January 6th defendants had filed for bankruptcy, 50% were in severe debt to a creditor, and 18% lost their homes as a result of eviction or foreclosure. All these numbers were far above the national average, pointing to what I saw as a humanizing pipeline between personal hardship and political radicalization on the right, which in itself was consistent with the theory that I developed back at the Flat Earth Conference back in 2019.
I mean, all the empirical evidence overwhelmingly suggests that there's an enormous 200-foot ice wall holding the oceans in level and flat.
Have you researched Hitler at all?
In the absence of creativity, I called my idea Andrew's radicalization theory, after discovering that nearly every active flat earther had suffered a recent sequence of traumatic life events that caused their personal sense of security, significance, and connection to collapse almost overnight, leading them into a spiral of pain, self-loathing, and a sort of greater societal disillusionment that put them in these kind of apocalypse cults, which QAnon, the driving movement behind January 6th, pretty much was. So after This Place Rules came out, I was kind of in search of a January 6er who'd also gone through financial hardship before 2020, who was down to be filmed like for a long period of time and help me prove this theory. That's when I found Kelly Johnson, aka Kelly J. Patriot, at a White Lives Matter rally in Huntington Beach, California on April 11, 2021.
I think you know where I was on January 6th.
Where were you?
I think you know where I was on January 6th.
He was a man full of energy, wearing champion shoes,
Kobe Bryant was assassinated by the Quins.
still kind of riding the high from the January 6 events, and at first it was a completely standard right-wing street interaction. I held up the microphone and he was kind of rattling off various talking points that I'd heard a million times while filming for my HBO project.
It's demonic people who that kill the kids, drink their blood, probably eat them too. I mean, that's what they haven't put this out, because when that happens, people won't be able to believe it, but that's the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts.
But everything changed when I asked him one question.
What's the most painful piece of truth that's hurt you?
The question unlocked a tense personal anecdote.
His name's Bill Joyner. He destroyed my family, destroyed my 25-year business, separated and devastated my family. So that answers your question.
This dude sounds like he sucks.
And he's demonic also.
So after I popped that question, our whole conversation pivoted from Clinton trafficking rings and the alleged Kobe Bryant assassination to a personal one about a man named Bill Joyner, the one suing me now.
Bill Joyner! His name's Bill Joyner. I've heard that Hunter Biden and Bill Joyner are tight. He's tied in with the White House. Oops, careful. If you go this way, look out for Bill Joyner.
Cut thought Cut was a demon.
So I've been advised by my attorney to not say that much about the Dear Kelly film ahead of this ongoing litigation, but I will tell you that this film only briefly focuses on the pre-political dispute between Kelly and Bill Joyner, and very quickly evolves into a movie about Kelly's mental and family rehabilitation, with an analysis of how online echo chambers have broken up the modern American family.
Does this hair make me look gay?
Why, do you want to look gay?
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Half.
Huh?
Bi.
Okay, super.
Again, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the second half of the film features a pretty emotional intervention and documents Kelly's process in inpatient therapy, in which he accepts responsibility for his own role in the home foreclosure and actually goes as far as agreeing to apologize and make amends with Bill.
I need to go back and I need to forgive Bill Joyner.
Lawsuit aside, it's actually a film that I'm quite proud of. We originally launched the film on hard copy DVD and on our website, which was www.dearkellyfilm.com, for a $5.55 rental and a $15.55 lifetime purchase. But guys, what if I told you that all of you watching right now can watch Dear Kelly for free?
Free movie alert. Free movie alert. Free movie alert.
So if right now you go to www.dearkellyfilm.com on your computer, tablet, or phone, hit the rental option, go to rent it for 48 hours, and while you're checking out, type in all caps code DearKelly26. That is code DearKelly26, and you will get a free 2-day pass to watch the film. Watching Dear Kelly in its entirety will give you more context as to just how ridiculous this lawsuit is, and probably answer whatever other questions you might have about the project. Link is in the bio along with the GoFundMe. All right, let's get back to the lawsuit timeline. Fast forward to the May of 2024, far after we finished filming for Dear Kelly, and once we'd finally wrapped the final cut at our headquarters back in Vegas. So that month, in May, we announced a 36-city international tour across the US, Mexico, and Canada to screen Dear Kelly in front of live audiences. And boom, a week before tour kicks off, we got a cease and desist letter in the mail from Bill's lawyers. The letter threatened to sue us and every single other venue on the tour if we didn't cancel the tour completely, halt distribution of Dear Kelly indefinitely, and delete all raw files used in the assembly of the film, while giving Bill and his lawyers the only existing copy left of the audio and video files used to make Dear Kelly. My first thought when I got the letter was, holy shit, Bill Joyner is real? And then my second thought was, fuck that, man. We're not canceling tour. You know, I didn't defame him in any way. I didn't wiretap him. But they sued us anyway. On May 30th, 2024, which was a real bummer. So in the complaint, which is also linked below, they describe Dear Kelly as a film that corroborates the false, nonsensical, and mentally disturbed story of defendant Kelly Scott Johnson. They claim that we spent 2 years stalking, surveilling, video recording, and audio recording Mr. Joyner, his family, his home residence, and his place of business. And that we traveled to California, where I actually lived at the time, specifically to create recordings intended to harass and intimidate Mr. Joyner, his spouse, and his minor children, not to be confused with adult children. They then go on to describe me as a deranged, right-wing prankster with brain damage from mushrooms, and the sidekick of a crazy January 6th defendant, writing that while it first appeared that Callaghan was simply reporting on the story of Kelly Johnson, it is clear that at some point the two became quite close, and Callaghan has taken on Johnson's crusade against Mr. Joyner as his own.
Andrew ain't never said Bill stole shit.
They also claimed, falsely, that I had the intent to release a film dedicated almost entirely to Johnson's crusade to destroy Mr. Joyner without cause, and that I am not a journalist, but rather a producer of scripted, voyeuristic, tabloid television dribble.
And the damn thing scripted at Channel 5.
It's actually pretty funny, but on a serious note, anybody who's watched Dear Kelly knows how off-base and ridiculous that assessment is. Not only did we never trespass or capture a single recording of Bill, but the premise of the film was to effectively de-radicalize a person, Kelly, who is one of millions of Americans that dove headfirst into reactionary politics during the pandemic after falling on hard times.
COVID, pandemic, it was a struggle place. America's a cutthroat place, and the people been struggling.
I mean, honestly, I can't tell you how many people have told me they've been touched by the film because they have a family member, loved one, or QAnon aunt or grandma that mirrors Kelly's story exactly. And to add to that, by the end of the film, Kelly forgives and lets go of his resentments to Bill after undergoing therapy that was facilitated through channels that we created. If anything, we did Bill a favor with this film, but Bill's lawyers don't seem interested in viewing the film in its entirety or attempting to see its connection to a bigger picture. They want to punish me for giving Kelly a platform, and also use the lawsuit to attack my personal life and career, hilariously suggesting that I am not a real journalist, but rather a gonzo journalist. The lawsuit actually says this, describing Channel 5 as a gonzo-style filmmaking operation, then defining that meaning as creating sensationalistic works of fiction using hyperbole, fantasy, and conspiracy theories, sometimes drug and alcohol fueled, and deliberately designing things to excite, enrage, and rabble-rouse. Right, long live Hunter S. Thompson.
Let's define gonzo.
Gonzo journalism is a literary style, pioneered by Hunter S. Thompson, that combines nonfiction and fantasy elements. There's no such thing as a gonzo video. The word gonzo kind of gets used in tandem with like guerrilla journalist, but gonzo is something totally different. So no, I'm not a gonzo journalist. I mean, I could be one day, but I'd have to write something that's half inspired by fantasy. So jumping forward, on August 2nd, 2024, right as the Dear Kelly tour wrapped, we fought back with an anti-SLAPP motion. So SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, and mostly exists to protect journalists from frivolous lawsuits that are typically leveraged by powerful people with deep pockets who are trying to keep reporters quiet about something by burying them in legal and court fees until they basically get fatigued by expenses and agree to settle outside outside of court and sign some kind of NDA that guarantees permanent silence. So in that context, me filing an anti-slap motion against someone like Bill is a pretty standard legal move that a journalist would use to dismiss a bullshit lawsuit out the gate and avoid being dragged into the financial nightmare that is discovery or trial.
Anti-slaps exist to protect the free speech of journalists.
And while it can be pricey to file the motion, if the judge rules in your favor during an anti-slap, the other side has to pay back the legal fees, so it kind of works itself out if you're telling the truth. And I am telling the truth, so I hired the best lawyers I could over at Davis Wright Tremaine based in New York City, and we felt great about the motion because Dear Kelly is clearly protected speech and is journalistically significant. The film, even though it's focused on Kelly as an individual who himself isn't like a politician or an important figure necessarily, his story connects to broader national events and movements that have permanently reshaped the landscape of our country.
Prodigal son.
Absolutely.
None of it happened before. Remember
Absolutely.
that.
Thank you, Charlie. Good seeing you again. Thank you.
And also when it comes to like the wiretapping stuff, his attorneys couldn't find one specific instance of us actually recording Bill in the flesh ever or having a conversation with him.
Shit don't make sense.
Then a few months later came the ruling. Our judge ruled in favor of Joyner, dismissing our motion and arguing that Dear Kelly was not protected speech because Kelly's story is not a matter of public interest, meaning because Kelly and Bill are both private individuals and their prior disputes surrounding the foreclosure of Kelly's home had already been resolved, my film wasn't journalistically valuable because their dispute with the house was no longer ongoing and so doesn't concern the public. That doesn't make any sense to me. Probably not to you guys either. I don't know if the judge ever watched Dear Kelly or if she even knows how to use a computer, and I mean that respectfully. Judge Marshall was born in 1936, around 15 years before cable TV became a household fixture, and may have had, honestly, genuine difficulty navigating the technology and consuming new media, so just opted to take Joyner's word that Dear Kelly is one long audit of what went down with a random home foreclosure in 2017. It's crazy, but it sucks, and either way, that was the ruling. So 6 days later, we appealed to the Ninth Circuit Court, just praying to God that anybody except for that judge could get their eyes on this frivolous lawsuit. And while our appeal was just sitting there in the queue, waiting to be heard for months, the Ninth Circuit Court decided to change the rules entirely, now ruling that you can't appeal a denied anti-slap motion in federal court. And just like that, mid-game, with our appeal still pending, we were forced to move on to discovery, one of the most expensive things imaginable.
Discovery is a nightmare.
For those of you who don't know what discovery actually is, this is the phase of a lawsuit where both sides have to hand over everything. Every email, every text message, every hard drive, every document that could possibly pertain to the case. These files have to be collected and transferred by court-approved forensic investigators and then downloaded, annotated, mapped, and presented to the opposing counsel. That means that every single file pertaining to a case regarding a film that was shot over the course of 4 years had to be picked up, collected, archived, and sent over. This took over a year to accomplish, and it was more of a headache than I would care to explain in this video. But finally, after Bill's attorneys found absolutely nothing on any of our company hard drives or servers, they switched strategies, having me sit down for a multi-hour on-camera deposition where they attempted to grill me with confusing questions about Adobe Premiere proxies and a number of other mind-boggling dumbass things to suggest that we actually did wiretap and monitor Bill's electronic communications, but had moved and or deleted the files before the lawsuit even began, because even before they contacted us, we knew that we'd gone too far.
My question is, if you're not using proxies, how are these proxy folders created?
Proxy folders are oftentimes automatically created when you're transferring 4K video footage. You know, a proxy is just basically like a ghost file that references the raw footage itself. So even if you're working from a proxy, that doesn't refer to a different file. That just means it is like a low resolution composite video rendering of that file to make it easier on your computer.
Thanks.
It was the dumbest waste of time I have ever endured in my 29 years on this planet. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna drop the entire deposition video on this channel this week when the courts cough it up, because it was so insufferable, and I'm sorry, but I need you guys to feel my pain.
Have you been deposed before?
No.
Oh.
So after the deposition, and once discovery had totally wrapped, right as I was moving forward towards summary judgment and possibly a trial, Bill's attorneys voluntarily dismissed a federal lawsuit. Just like that, gone. Hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted on both sides, all for nothing. At first I was like, fuck yeah, you know what, that was a tough time, but I learned a lot. But then I got served again, informing me, as I mentioned, that I'm being re-sued by the same people, but this time in California state court.
Cuz thought the lawsuit was gone? that was just the beginning.
We have to start from scratch at the very beginning with a new judge. That might mean more discovery, more depositions, more forensic audits, more lies, and more bullshit from Bill Joyner and his cronies. Which, as I mentioned, is something that I cannot afford to do. Not only am I insanely behind on legal bills from the previous suit, but at this current moment, we don't even have the money to pay for representation moving forward.
So if he can't stack increments, he's fucked. He owes the lawyer $300,000. Andrew, remember, you're a great man. You help a lot of people. You care about everybody. Everything's gonna see all right. Never commit suicide. We're here. We're gonna help you, hood. Channel 5 will never die. I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. Fans, we need y'all help, hood.
I'll keep you guys updated and I won't let y'all down. Fuck Bill Joyner, 5.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News. Channel 55, we don't fuck with custers. And 5 is the best number.
Fuck Bill Joyner.